Hello there. I hope this past week was kind to you and brought you little pockets of energy that you can use for making some beautiful art with me today.
It's a nice simple palette for our painting today. So we'll take some of that brown and mix it into the blue to make a darker blue. And then we can add a little white to that just to lighten it. It's good to pre-mix colors because it saves time and energy a bit later on in the painting. We can take some brown and some sap green, mix those two together to make a darker green. I'm just looking at the reference and seeing which colors might be useful in our painting session. A little bit of green, add some white to make a lighter green. That would always be good for some highlights maybe. And then maybe a much lighter blue for the background. We just add some more white into our blue mix. And that should do us for now. So we'll just start sketching on our toned paper. And it's a very simple sketch with some diluted raw umber, just a line for the horizon and a wiggly line for the path through the forest. We're going to start blocking in the sky now. We're just going to use a nice thin layer of white. So we can just take the white, start in the middle and work your way outwards. Nice quick brush strokes. We don't have to be too precise here. This will all get covered up eventually. So we're going to take our mid shade of blue, not the darkest blue, and we're just going to go around the edges of the page, and we're going to leave that white gap in the middle. Now we can take our darkest blue and go around the very outer edges. Now if you take a nice clean soft dry brush, we can start blending out the sky. We don't want the sky to have hard lines in it because we're painting a misty forest, so we need to blend all those colors together. And when you're blending, you need to make sure, first of all, not to push too hard, just keep a nice light touch, and also to wipe the brush off regularly as you're doing this. And keep blending until your sky is nice and smooth. Don't worry too much if your sky's not completely smooth. We'll let it dry a little and then we'll start blocking in the ground. And we're just going to use a nice thin layer of green for the bottom third of the painting, but avoiding the path area. Now we're going to add our darkest green to the bottom corners of the grass, and we're using rough brush strokes. We're not being too precise because we want it to look a bit natural, and we're going to be smoothing it out with our soft brush as well. And when you smooth it out, make sure to blur the line between the grass and the sky as well to make it recede off into the distance. Now that our sky has dried a little, we can add some more white to the middle section. And we're going to concentrate mostly on the middle and just sort of feather it out towards the edges. We're going to take our darkest blue now and start painting in the trees. Now I find it easier to start painting trees from the bottom and working my way up, creating branches and things as I go along. And I've also switched to a flat brush, but brushes are personal choice. Some people prefer to use a round brush for this. You can use whatever's comfortable for you. You'll notice that I've also not started the trees on the horizon. I've started them below the horizon to create some depth. So for this little sketch, I'm only going to paint maybe about 4 darker trees, and then without getting any more paint, just using what's on the brush, I'll go in and paint the lighter trees in the background. And as we keep painting trees, we're going to have less and less paint on the brush, which will make our trees lighter and lighter and appear to be receding off into the distance, which is the effect that we're looking for. Now we're going to go in with our very dark green and add some foliage. And I'm just using a dabbing motion with the brush, just plonking it on little bits by little bit. And I'm also not going to keep dipping into the paint. Whatever's on the brush, I'll just let it get lighter and lighter towards the horizon. And I'll even go up into the tree area a little bit in between the trees. It doesn't matter if we knock some of the color out of our trees, because we can always go back in later and re-establish that. We just want to make a hazy line between the horizon and the foliage at the bottom. We can also take some of that dark green around the edges of the pathway to give it some more definition. And because this is a sketch, we're just using very quick brush strokes, not blending it too much, not filling in every little gap, just doing it very quickly. Now we can pick up some of our very dark blue and dab a few impressions of leaves and things in between the trees. Again, nice quick brush strokes. And while we're doing that, I'd like to ask you a huge favor. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button too. And once you're happy with your foliage, you can take your soft clean brush and give it a little flick here and there just to soften things out. We're going to work on our path now, and we're going to be working to the same rules that anything in the distance is fading off into the distance. So it needs to be lighter near the horizon and a little bit darker as it comes towards us. So we'll start with a mix of just brown mixed with white for the top of the road, and then as it comes towards you, you can add more brown into that mix. Now we're going to add some highlights to the grass area, and that was our very lightest green mix that we made, the green mixed with the white. And we're not going to cover all of the grass, we're going to just concentrate on the parts nearest to the path, just where you think the light might catch it. We're nearly at the end now, so we're going to do some finishing touches. Little things like re-establishing those trees. If our dark trees are not looking dark anymore, we can add some more dark to it. We can add a few more branches here and there. Just step back from your painting and have a look and see what little things you could do to improve it. Now, when I stepped back from my painting, I thought maybe it could do with some more impressions of foliage in the background. So I've just taken some more of that greyish colour on my brush, and I'm just adding little blobs here and there just to create the illusion of trees and things going on in the background. And there we go. Even if you can't go for a long walk in a forest, you can still paint one. Let's celebrate the small joys. Thank you for joining me in today's simple painting. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I'd love it if you would post a picture of your finished painting to our Facebook page. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.